Hey guys, I have found a very interesting video on the internet. The video deals with the one of the Tonny Robbins seminar and is filled with insight. And the video title is Tonny Robbins Business Mastery Review Insights and Lesson Learned. And I am going to review that video. There are mainly seven points to learn from that video, and some key takes from that video. Uh, uh, that is with the review of the cinema seminar. Point one is while starting a business, understand who you are and where you are and in which business you are, in what business you need to be, who your customer client is and who your customer client needs to be, and then creating an effective business plan. One of the main things Tonny Robbins while taking a business does is that he understands who the customer is, with their needs, wants, pains, what is their desire, and after understanding, he simply gives it to them. The second key point is understand who you are. Every person has its nature. While making an effective business, there are three types of people required. One is artist, one is entrepreneur, and one manager or leader. An artist is the one who loves creating the content, who loves coming with the new ideas, who loves coming with the new things, and every business needs to have innovation. If you look at Nokia, I think that happened was the world around Nokia involves so much faster that Nokia couldn't keep up. So innovation is the key thing, and if you want to have control over market, or you want to be successful in market, you have to be innovative. Second type of people is entrepreneur. Now, who is an entrepreneur? There is one main thing that differs from between a common person and an entrepreneur, or I should say businessman. That's guts. The person who has guts is the one who is the true entrepreneur. The reality is that the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. So these are the people who loves taking the risk, who loves making new businesses, who loves bringing ideas into reality, and then perhaps sell them for some money. The third kind of person is a manager or a leader. A manager or a leader is the one who understands or works with the people, uh, uh, and works with the people and make them work for a common goal. If we look at the example of Gandhi, Gandhi had a very prominent power that he stimulated millions of people for a common cause, and to be able to stimulate people for common cause is a great power. And I actually had a very interesting friend. Actually, have an interesting friend. He's very good at making relationships and keeping those relationships intact. And every business needs to have a person who is good while working with the people, with the labor, and it's those people who are who should be a manager or leader. Leadership is uh, about being acknowledged by the people. The one who gets acknowledged by the people is the one who gets to become a leader. And a leader is nothing more than a person who decides the course of action for the community he's serving. If you are a captain on a boat, you will decide route for that boat, regardless if crew agrees or not. Key number Point number three is fall in love with the customer, not the product. The truth is that product eventually becomes irrelevant. If you fall in with the product, it becomes irrelevant because in meantime it is going to be outdated. If you fall in love with the customer, you are always going to be striving to solve their problem, meet their needs and wants, and that is going to lead you to a path of innovation. You are going to be focused on solving the problem of the customer, and you are going to provide what customer want, not what you think is required. You see, the reality is that every product gets outdated. If you look at the example of TV, first there were black and white TV, then there came color TV, then there came LCD, LED, fast forward, and nobody asks about or talks about black and white TV because they are relics of the past. Uh, the the fourth point is that constant and never-ending improvement of the world-class marketing and promises. Uh, Peter Drucker says business is innovation and marketing. Innovation is finding a way to do something better, to add more value, always improve and optimize something. And marketing is being able to find a way to always able to get your product out there, promote it, and to be able to reach a mass number of people. And that's a continuous process that you always have to improve. Coca-Cola can market the same advertisement for years and years, and it will not have that impact they would have when they change the. In order to have impact, Coca-Cola changes their advertisement. You see, the way world works is this: that when Coca-Cola started, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, but they have evolved with the trend. They have evolved with the marketing, so they have adopted what was in trend, and thus they have survived. And they are actually one of the top marketing companies in the world. Uh, and one of the key point is here to learn is that every team should have a sales team calling and converting people for sale. Uh, Key number point number five is that constant anticipation, the power of financial and legal analysis. You have to understand number of your business and finance of your business. You have to be able to anticipate in your business. Able to anticipate is one of the greatest power. You see, take an example of a jet plane, and think business as flying a jet plane. If you do not have right numbers, you do not know how fast you are going. If you are thinking that you are going at x speed and you are actually going at y speed, you are always going to make trouble. You are going to get in trouble. So you have to understand where you are going, where your path is leading. You have to be able to anticipate it. Step number five is, and the last key point is that is creating a raving fan and customer. The way you create a raving fan and customer is by adding value to them more than anyone else, so that become your customer for life. You see, raving fan are those people who are loyal to you. If we look at the Apple, you see, when there's a new launch outside the Apple store, there is always a big line. People want to get their product as fast as possible. And if you look at some, nearly all clothing brands in Pakistan, so as there is sale, people just tend to get their product the first thing. And some other key points are people buy feeling and identities. Identities are brand, where feelings are emotion. You can associate a certain feeling and emotion with the customer buying the product, and you are going to have competitive advantage, and you gotta have a brand in your business. You see, Steve Jobs was very interesting. He was one of the few people who knew how to tap into the people's emotion, and he was able to sold a phone who will drop your calls for about 20% and had less battery time than a day. And Steve Jobs was able to engrave that phone into the history. And when and that was iPhone. When iPhone came, it cost $1,800, but people forgot that they have $900 worth computer in their home, and why they should buy a device worth $800. So Steve Jobs has a very interesting talent. Was able to trigger emotions of the people, and he will utilize this. And the biggest thing that to learn from to learn from Tony Robbins is that success is 80% psychology uh, uh, in their mindset, and 20% is mechanic. The biggest thing in a business is always psychology, the mindset. You see, the way you uh, perceive a problem or is the mindset that matters. The limited beliefs you have, the inner conflicts you have, the fear, the doubt, the unknown fear of failure, they hold us back from achieving the success that we want. The ultimate tool in a business is to understand emotion and use them in your favor. Successful business leaders are those who are resourceful people. Business is for gladiators, people who can find a way, who can break through if it is a wall. The business leader can find a way to go through, below or above the wall or around it. And they always find a way. They do not have stories of excuses. You have to be able to identify what are your limitations that are holding you back, and be able to overcome it. Maybe it is belief that I need money. Money is a resource. If you are resourceful, you will be able to find. If you are resourceful, resources to come. Resources will come. Maybe it is time. Resourceful people make the time. Thank you. Share your review about this video. We are thinking about having such videos again more often.